To solve this matrix, we need to look at the logic from left to right in our rows and from top to bottom in our columns. From left to right in our rows, we have this first dark square is moving one space to the right to be in the middle of that top row, and then another space to the right to be in the third square of that top row. So the logic seems to be that this little black square is moving to the right. In our second row, this shape, this shaded in shape, is now 2 squares long. And so now it can become helpful for us to think about this as if it were a little snake. This snake is moving up this way at the moment, and now it needs to start moving to the right. So it's going to turn this corner, and now the head of the snake will be here, and the back of the snake will be in that first square that the head used to be in the last segment. The same is true of our next element in that row. The snake is going to move so that the head is 1 square further, and the tail end of the snake is also 1 square further forward, giving us our element here. And now in our third row, the snake analogy really comes in handy because now the snake is 3 squares long. So if the head of our snake is here, and we need to move 1 square to the right, that means the head will be here, the middle of the body will be here, and the tail will be here, as shown in our second element of that row. Then, how do we know what our last element is? Well, we apply that same pattern of logic. The snake needs to move 1 square to the right. So the head will be here, the middle will be here, and the tail will be here. So we will have the snake fully taking up that top row of this 9 by 9 square. And that would perfectly match answer choice A. Now let's go back and take a look at our column logic. In our columns from top to bottom, the snake is getting longer and it's shifting to the left or downward. In this first instance, we have our snake here. Again, his little head is right here. And we're adding more to the body of the snake. So in the next element, he now has a midsection. And in the last element, he has a tail added. So now he goes from being 1 square big to being 3 squares big. In the second column, the same is true, but again, we have to think about this in terms of the snake's body, not necessarily where the squares are going to show up. Because if you just think about it like, oh, we're adding squares below, then you would have a snake that looks like this. But that is not what happens in this column. We're adding more of a body and a tail to the snake. So we have a body filling into the left here, and then the tail filling in below that body, and that's how we get down to our third element. So the same can be true of our third element in that row. We are adding, if the snake head is here, we are adding the midsection to the left, and we are adding the tail to the left, which would also give us answer choice A as our correct answer.